Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates and some Star Wars Battlefront 2 news based off some leaks. Actually, it's been a while since I talked about that, but as most of you probably know, the new community transmission is supposed to be going live today, but it seems like a couple of the international teams at EA pressed that red button a little bit too early, because yesterday it seems like the French version actually went live but was taken down very quickly, so there wasn't really anyone who archived it properly and everyone was therefore pretty unsure. But then it turns out that the Portuguese version also went up, and I've actually copied that one into Google Translate, so that's what I'm gonna be basing this video off. And since both the French and Portuguese version kind of align with each other, this is pretty much 100% confirmed. Since it wasn't supposed to go live now, chances are that this could be a work in progress, but since the actual community transmission in English is supposed to go out today, I'm gonna guess that this is probably as close as we will get to the real version. But I just want to mention that anyway, so if there are any changes to the actual real version that comes out, I will make sure to tweet that out, because chances are that this video will be going live before the English version goes live, because they usually release those in the afternoon, and at that point I will probably be over at Gamescom. I'm currently in my hotel room to record this video. But yeah, let's dig into it. I'm not gonna actually quote stuff because, well, it's Google translated, so it won't sound very good. I'm just gonna go over all the important points in this community transmission, both the good and the bad. So, starting off, I guess, with both the good or bad news, depending on how you see it, the clone skins that are arriving on August 29th, 1 week from now. We're only getting the 41st and the 327th this update, which is a bit of a shame, because I know we've seen these in the files for quite a while, and I don't think any of us expected to get all of them today, because we've already seen in the roadmap that they were going to be spread out through 3 drops. And it makes sense to, for instance, have the 501st with Anakin or the 212th with Obi-Wan, so that's not really any surprise to me. But I still hope for more than 2 in this update, maybe 3, 4 or 5 at least. So that is a bit of a shame, but something that someone on Reddit actually brought up that I thought was a good point is that those leaked ones we saw didn't actually seem to be properly finished, and in this article they actually mentioned how the 327th had the yellow marks and the shoulder pads and Kammas, something that we did not actually see in the leaked files, which could indicate that those were not completely finished, and that the actual version that comes out next week will look better than what the leaked skins did, because as you can see there's a bit of a difference between the real one from the movies and the leaked skins. And hopefully that will be a nice surprise next week. But oh well, let's continue to the other details that we got. For instance, the new clone appearances will cost 20,000 credits or 500 crystals each. Will be available for Assault, Heavy and Specialist. But if you want to acquire one of these skins for all 3 classes, you can actually get a collection that costs 40,000 credits. So instead of 60,000 for all 3, you can pay 40,000 to get it for both the Assault, Heavy and Specialist at the same time. As for the emotes and victory poses, you will be able to buy those next week through crystals and credits. The ones for the heroes will be 2,000 credits or 50 crystals, and the ones for the soldiers will be 1,000 credits or 25 crystals. So it's pretty cheap, to be honest, and I think that's a good price. I think I already have most emotes and victory poses that I want, but I'm gonna go through the list and see if there's anything that I feel like I need. But in short, yeah, I'll probably not blow a lot of credits or crystals on the emotes and victory poses. It's because those of us who played for quite a while have unlocked a lot of them just through loot boxes, when that was still available, to be clear. But for new players I think this will be very helpful. And some good news is also that the hangar of the palace in Naboo, that is currently only available in Hero Showdown and Heroes vs Villains, will be arriving both to Blast and Custom Arcade. So that's good news. I really like that map, and I think it could be pretty interesting to see how the actual generator room part will work in Blast, since Heroes vs Villains is more melee based, versus now people might snipe across that room and so on. So it's gonna be interesting to see, and I really hope you guys will submit some repulsor cannon clips from there, because I think that weapon will be extremely effective at shooting people down into the abyss. And in the update they will also be making Ewok Hunt permanent. I honestly kind of thought that was already the case, but now it will actually be permanent in the operations menu, so that is good news, because I think Ewok Hunt is one of the most unique game modes, obviously, so it would kind of suck if that disappeared or wasn't permanent. So that's all good news. And the end of round screen has gone through some changes as well. I will now show you more details about your position on the board, a breakdown of your score, eliminations, assists, stats, and it seems like you would also have some more breakdown of how the credits work with the combat placement, the assist points, the objective score, and so on. Again, I'm basing this off a rough Google Translate that doesn't really have the right terms in terms of what we say in English about these different points, but yeah, I think it's gonna be more detailed basically about your position, your score, how you get the credits and all that kind of stuff, so that's all good. So I'm excited to see more in detail what that means. And now, as Google Translate says, maps of the initial era, also known as prequel-era maps. It seems like we're finally getting a prequel-era-ish playlist, because there will be a new tile in the main menu where if you select that one, it will prioritize prequel era maps. But as far as I understand, it's not guaranteed, it's not a only prequel era playlist, but it's basically saying, hey, queue me for Galactic Assault, and if possible, put me into a Clone Wars map. And I think that's fine. That's a good way to basically do like they did in the last game, where they won't split up the playlist, but you can still prioritize which map you want to end up on first. And then I'm a bit confused about this translation. Each block will represent a different game mode: Battle, Attack, and Galactic Attack. So that to me probably means Blast, Galactic Assault, and then maybe Strike. I'm not quite sure, because Galactic Attack means Galactic Assault, and just Attack would then mean Assault, so I don't know. I am not entirely sure what those three are, but I'm guessing it's gonna be Galactic Assault, Blast, and then potentially one more game mode. And now the hero price says something that has been talked about a lot for Obi-Wan, Grievous, Anakin, and Count Dooku, and I gotta say I'm really happy about this price. 35,000 credits, that is the same as Lando's Falcon, and I think this is very reasonable for anyone, because if you play the game a lot, you can easily afford this. I mean, I have 350,000-ish credits, so even if they were to release all 4 heroes right now, I'd still have to use less than half of mine to unlock them. And if you're a new player, you can get 10,000 credits an hour, which means in about 3 or 4 hours, you would already have unlocked one of the new heroes. So I don't think anyone will complain about this, and I'm glad they didn't go too high on that number. And since all 4 heroes will not be arriving at the same time, I don't think that will be an issue either. And the next thing to talk about is the double multiplier for battle points. And that one is actually planned to be removed for a future upgrade as part of the squad system. And this was something I mentioned in a previous video, that it wasn't just a bug but something they intentionally did. And to counter this, they're actually reducing the battle point cost for all the units and heroes in Galactic Assault, which, well, does make a lot of sense. So it's roughly reduced about 25%, I think, so the cost of heroes will be from 6,000 to 4,500 and from 8,000 to 6,500. And then you can see the list of all the other drops right here. And I think this is pretty good. I mean, honestly, like I said in my live stream the last time, I didn't really have an issue with the multiplier being gone, because I felt like it was not as quick to get the heroes now, and people couldn't rush with the officer and get it in like 30 seconds. You can still get it really fast, and yes, the officer needs to be nerfed in terms of point gain or the other classes buffed, but I don't mind this reduction of the cost, because although me and a lot of others might not struggle, they really gotta look to the larger player base and people who really do struggle to get those heroes and who might not get enough battle points in one game. So by removing that multiplier, it does make sense to reduce the price. I don't mind, and I don't really see any negative part to it. Only difference is that it's gonna be a little bit quicker to get the heroes than it currently is, but overall it's probably gonna be about the same speed, or maybe even slower than when you actually had multipliers. So I think that makes sense, and I'm interested to see how they're actually gonna add a potential new system once the squad system arrives in a couple of months. We also have a couple of bug fixes and such as for extraction on Jabba's Palace, and Death Star 2, Bespin, and also a couple of places where Boba Fett were able to reach a bit too high and camp up in the corner, such as on Bespin, Kashyyyk, and so on, and that will also be fixed. And lastly, there's also a mention about the roadmap update that will be coming out on Friday, actually 2 days from now, which is probably when I am flying home, so as always I time it very nicely with these trips to when the actual news arrive. But with that updated roadmap, we will be seeing the monthly content all the way to the end of 2018, so no more fall or winter, but actual months instead. But yeah, I think those are all the details. Again, I based this off the Portuguese version, translated to English, and I've also verified this from basically the bullet points that people who know Portuguese or French have translated it. But if there are any things in this video that are not aligned with the English version, I will make sure to post it out on Twitter, any corrections and such, and leave a comment on this video. So if you're watching this a few hours later when the English version is out, feel free to check out the comments below if there's anything that was missed. But I'm pretty sure that this is gonna be to 99% what's gonna be in the English version as well. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the force be with you.